What's going on, everybody, and welcome to Let's Talk Money. I'm Nikolay Timoshchuk Jr. and today's video is all about how to become wealthy. What can you do? How can you start this process? And who's freaking rich? So I'm going to cover a bunch of different wealthy people, talk about how and what they did to reach that point and what they keep doing in order to stay in that type of position. There's so many names you probably know of right off the bat, which I'm going to get into, but I don't want to spoil everything way too quick. But I'm going to throw a few names out there, something like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett. Some of these guys are just laying and living in all kinds of money. They don't even know what to do with the amount of money that they have. How did they get to this point? How do they keep going? And why can they get to this point? And can you actually get to this point? I think everybody has the potential, to become rich, to become wealthy, whatever it is for you that you want in your life. However, it does take a lot of hard work, determination, and a lot of other different things in order to get to that point, which I will cover in this video. And I'm excited to get into this because this is something that really, motivates me. Talking money, talking finance, talking business especially, which is how a lot of these people are able to be in the positions that they're in. Most people, that inherit money and things like that, yes. Are they wealthy? Of course, absolutely. But talking about people that actually started a business and took tons of risk in order to get to the point that they are today is absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to get into more detail about all this stuff. So the first thing I want to do is dive into some of the richest people in the entire world. I'm going to just show you a list here that includes Jeff Bezos, Bernard Arnault and family, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Warren Buffett, Larry Page, Larry Ellison, Sergey Brin, Amancio Ortega, and you see these people have billions of dollars, absolutely billions, so much money you wouldn't even know what to do with it in one lifetime. However, are there more rich people around the world? Absolutely. There's a lot of people that actually don't report their wealth. When I was traveling around the world and I got to go out to Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and places like that, you see a lot of wealth, a lot of oil wealth, but these people don't necessarily report how much money they have. They're not in all the different magazines and things like that. So there's a ton of other people in this world that don't report their wealth and just don't, want the public to know exactly how much money they make. However, having billions of dollars makes you absolutely wealthy. That is not even rich. That is absolute wealth. And that takes a lot of hard work to get to that point, which I said I will jump into in the video. But I just want to talk about, some of these people that are on this list, which included, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg. All these people, invented something or created something that would forever change the way the world works. It's something that continues to inspire the world. It's something that, people can continue to grow off of. And it seems like it's never ending. As long as those people are forward thinking in whatever they're doing, they are just setting that path for the future with their companies and such things like that. So as long as they keep going, they're going to keep growing that wealth, and that 200 billion turns to 400, or that $100 billion turns to 200, and they're going to keep growing and growing and growing as long as they continue to do what they're doing. But let's get into a few other things that I really want to touch on how to actually become wealthy. Now, before I move on, I will have to ask you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell, turn on your post notifications, hit that like button, hit that share button, and drop a comment below so I know exactly what y'all want to talk about and what you want to learn more about as I put out more content. Without further ado, let's get back to what's important here. Now, the second thing that I want to talk about is the many sleepless nights, the hard work, the tiredness, whatever that word is, where you're exhausted. That's the word I was looking for, where you absolutely have no more, energy to keep going, but you have to find a will, you have to find a way, and you have to keep grinding. I saw an interview with Elon Musk where he was actually talking to the reporter. The reporter was like, hey, do you wish this upon anybody else? And Elon Musk was talking about the fact that he wouldn't wish his work schedule and the way he feels upon anybody, because it's 2 or 3 hours of sleep per night. It's always constantly working in your mind. It's constantly working when you're at home. There is no home. There is no, separation from job and home and all these different things. It's a constant work. It's a constant battle of just grinding. And it requires you to keep going and going and going, even when you want to take a break. It is a very stressful life to live in an entrepreneurship mindset, which is amazing, but it also has its downfalls. It also has those things that cause you to stress out every second of the day that you're awake and you're thinking about this and thinking about that and what problem problems can we see, and what can we do from here, and how can we grow the company, and is the company actually profitable, or are we losing money? What's happening between all of that stuff? Well, it's a lot of stress. It's a lot of sleepless nights. It's a lot of, exhausting days that I talked about earlier in this section. You have to keep finding a way to push through those moments, because if you don't, all of that hard work, whatever you're trying to get to, that wealth you're trying to acquire, it won't happen. Nothing just happens. Nothing just happens unless you win the lottery. And a lot of people that win the lottery, it doesn't end well for them. So that's the unfortunate part of, inheriting that amount of money, because you don't know how to manage it. It means nothing to you almost. It's not special. It doesn't have any kind of, importance in your life. You're just dealing with it. So this is something that's extremely important. The sleepless nights, the exhausting hours, the hard work, the grind, all that effort goes into an amazing work ethic that will prove to be beneficial. Now, the third thing that I want to talk about is building your portfolio. So what am I really insinuating here? I'm talking about assets, things that provide value, whether that's homes, whether that's apartment buildings, whether that's commercial buildings for retail space, whatever that may be. But when you're able to build that portfolio, when you're able to build your asset list from, one thing to two to three to four to five, now you have things that are paying your bills, that are paying you, residual income, that have you seeing this money roll in. And then one day, once you pay them all off, or however you have it structured, you now own, let's say, 50 buildings or 100 buildings, or you own some different apartment complexes or whatever that may be. And all of a sudden, these things that help you build your wealth, are just showing you the amounts of money that you have. Now, liquidating, getting rid of all these things, and just having the cash sitting there. Now, I don't recommend that. I don't think that's necessarily wealthy, but seeing things that actually work for you, seeing things that bring you that mailbox money, that send you a rent check every single month, or that whatever it is, lease money from a building, a commercial building or something like that. Being able to stack up your assets and being able to build that portfolio so that you can see where your wealth is coming from is something I think is extremely important. You have to be able to build that asset portfolio day after day after day. It might take a year to get your first one. Then in that second year, you might get 2 or 3 different buildings. In that third year, you might get 7 to 10 different buildings. Whatever works for you is whatever works. It doesn't have to be like some plan that somebody wrote out and you're following, to the T, and you're step by step by step by step. But what you need to start doing is start incorporating things into your life where you want to start acquiring assets. You want to start acquiring things that, pay you monthly, that give you that residual income, that passive income, where you can start building your wealth from the ground up one day at a time. Now, I will say the fourth thing that I want to talk about is probably the most important to me, and it's feeling like success is the only option. What does that mean? Does that mean you're just driven 24/7, there's no stopping, there's no breaks? That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is when you feel like you're about to be at your lowest level, when you feel like you're about to get knocked down, or if you do get knocked down, you know that you cannot stop. You know that you cannot turn back, because whatever you have set out for yourself with your business or your assets or whatever it is that you're doing, maybe it's your job, you have to realize that success is the only option. That feeling of knowing, hey, as long as I keep grinding, that next day might be the moment that we, flip, that moment we might pivot into that future success that we've been searching for, that we've been looking for day after day after day, that moment that we've been grinding for. Success can be the only option. You can fail, correct? You might fail. You probably will fail. In order to become successful, you'll probably end up failing quite a few times, but those failures are also successes. Why? Because you learn from them. Every L in life is a lesson. It's not a loss. This is not something you just lose, but what you do is you learn from things. You go and you actually acquire knowledge. You acquire different experiences that allow you to grow into different things. So understanding that success is the only option is something that allows you to propel forward, knowing that no matter what I'm going through, even if I fail at something, I'm actually learning from it so that I don't repeat that in the future, so that I can grow my business into a different stance, or I can grow my business into this area, or whatever it is that I need to do. I'm going to absolutely do it because I don't see any other option. There's nothing but success, going on in my mind, in my heart, and the work that I'm willing to put forth is success. That is it. Now, the fifth thing that I want to talk about is probably the most toughest thing to do for most people, and it's taking risks. When you take risks in life, there's typically a huge reward, or you're going to lose everything, correct? So when you get into those points in life, you have to see what's important to you. Obviously, you have responsibilities. Obviously, you have, maybe a kid, a wife, a husband, whatever it is, whoever's watching this video, you might have different things in place. So, for me personally, I might not have a wife yet or kids or anything like that. So in that case, I'm more willing to take high profile risks because I feel like there's a higher reward and I'm not necessarily going to lose out on everything. Being a single man, it's much easier for me to take higher risks to see those higher rewards, but I also have to understand that if I'm willing to risk everything, then there's a possibility of losing everything. For me, I'm a very optimistic person. I feel like if I'm going to take a risk, I've done my research, I feel good about it, I'm going to put the hard work in, and I'm willing to take that risk in order to see that reward on the other side of whatever that may be. I want to win. I want to be able to grow into something. I want to be able to, have that success in my life. I want to be able to build that wealth. So in order to do that, I have to take risks. Nobody's getting rich or wealthy off of not taking risks. You have to be like, wow, is this really a good idea? Do I think it is? Are we going to do the market research? Are we going to do, are we going to see what the economy thinks about it? And then all of a sudden, you just got to go. A lot of people get stuck in that I'm going to talk about it for the rest of my life stage, and they never actually move on anything. As long as you just figure out what you want to do and then take the risk in taking that first step, you'll learn along the way. You'll grow through the bad, the good, and all that good stuff. There's going to be storms and all kinds of crazy stuff going on, but as long as you're willing to actually go, then you will grow and you'll actually be able to take those risks, see those rewards, and continue to grow based off of what you're willing to risk. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video on how to become wealthy and what it takes and what a few people in the world are dealing with, how much money they have and all that good stuff. But without further ado, I will have to ask you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that bell, turn on your post notifications, hit that like button, hit that share button, and drop a comment below so I know exactly what y'all want to talk about as I put out more videos and provide more content for everybody to watch. I will see y'all on the next video. Peace out.